Shalom. Let's start out by giving all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushua, Bahashem, Kakadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders, great millstone, salutations to the Philet, this pushing is truth. Cross for comes earth, all faith, truth, and sincerity. All right, I'm on the Bible back again in the city. I'm going to about, how so-called Negro, Latino, Native American Israelites, starting with the elect of the nation of Israel, Israelites. It's going to, rise up, and take the kingdom. It's going to take, what belongs to them, what belongs to, the true people of the Lord, the chosen people of the Lord, which are the Israelites, the so-called Negro, Latino, Native American Israelites, which are the Israelites. The Lord Yahweh, he's going to rise up, Judah, which, today are the so-called Negroes, and then, we got the rest of Israel, the Israelites, the natives and the Latinos, we got Southern Kingdom, Northern Kingdom, the 12 tribes of Israelites, Lord Yahweh gonna, rise up, raise up, get Israel, roused up, and start getting at these Edomite doubles, man, and getting fed, getting tired of, being being in the bottom, being overlooked or being disrespected, it's getting to that point now. We got a situation in Mexico right now, which our tribe is called Ishkarites, are, getting at these Edomites that's trying to gentrify, their, area where they at, and it's go to show you, it's times, Lord Yahweh is gonna get the Israelites, so-called Negro, Latino, Native Americans, to rise up, get, to fight and to take, what's rightfully yours, to no more, sitting back and just watching things just, happen around you, and you might devils just trying to take over your area, where it may be, and force you out of your house or whatever it may be, right? Situation, your living area, whatever it may be, it's get to a point where, hey, you got to fight back. When your back's against the wall, what else you got left is what else you got left to do is to fight back. Ain't no more goddamn sitting and hey, just keep getting pushed and shoved and kicked, and just keep on taking a beating. Nah, let's go get to a point. It's time to fight back. And that's the times that we're in. The so-called Negro, Latino, Native American Israelites, Lord Yahweh finna, get you 12 tribes, roused up, man. Get ready, get ready to fight back, man. And that's the times that we're in, but we'll start our Revelation on 13:9. If any man have an ear, let him hear. So if you have an ear, everybody got an ear. Everybody got ears. But do you understand this? What's coming out of the words of the Lord of the Bible, Revelations? Revelation means to reveal. Do you understand what the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone are telling you, according to prophecy, what's to come? Do you have an understanding of that in to hear? Because a lot of so-called Negro, Latino, Native American Israelites don't have the understanding of spiritually understanding of what the apostles and elders of Berg Millstone are teaching them according to the words of the Lord, the Bible. The truth and understanding of it through the spirit of the Lord Yahweh Shai. Not these Baptist church preachers, not these Baptist church preachers or these other Israelite camps that not teaching the doctrine correctly through the spirit power of the Lord Yahweh Shai. So, the only ones really gonna get the understanding, spiritually understand the word Lord Yahweh Shai and not get offended is the elect. The elect of the so-called Negro, Latino, Native American Israelites. So, I'll go to the next verse. I'm going to read it again, Revelation 13:9. If any man have ear, let him hear. Revelation 13:10. And he that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here is the patience and the faith of the saints. So, who led the so-called Negro, Latino natives, into slavery, into captivity, to be slaves and pick cotton and all that, pick cotton and work in the hot sun, for nothing, for no penny, nothing, for no type of monetary gain, just to pick cotton and pick whatever, right? Be in the fields, work up the sun up to sundown, and back breaking work, labor, getting punished for not meeting your quota. You had the natives, they didn't meet their quota. When they was taking over by the Edomites, so-called white men, red people, the devil Edomites. In the time, in that time when the natives had to, had to meet a quota, when they picking whatever they had to, pick whatever it may be. But they had to, the job, whatever it was, they had to meet the quota. They ain't meet that quota, got their hands chopped off. So, you Edomite devils got a lot to pay for, man. You led the so-called Negro, Latino, Native Israelites into slavery, and so you did that. You're gonna, your time is gonna come. Where you so-called Negro, Latino, Native Americans, excuse me, it's gonna come a time when you Edomites, so-called white people, red people, are going to be put into chains, had them chains on you, and had them chains on your neck, and you gonna go into slavery, hardcore slavery. You gonna get double of it. You gonna get way worse than anything that happened in the slavery time of the Israelites. It's gonna be way worse for you Edomites, man, when that time come. When y'all gonna be slaves. You so-called white people, red people. Your time will come, So don't think that all the rape, rob, and murder, and all the atrocities that you did to the so-called Negro, Latino, Native American Israelites is forgotten. The Lord Yahweh Shai, Yahweh Shai remembers. He remembers everything. So don't get it twisted. That y'all just gonna get scot free, and don't think that it's gonna come back on you. It will, And the Lord Yahweh Shai is gonna bring judgment on you Edomites for constantly killing Jake out here. That you just randomly just want to kill them for just cause you hate them. Not cause they doing you wrong, but because you just don't like him you just hate Jake. You hate the Israelites. You hate the so-called Negro, Latino natives. So you kill them with the modern day sword, which is the gun, or however you might kill them, right? And like I say, y'all gonna get it, man. And I say, Lord Yahweh Shai gonna return, the chair so-called UFO, and laser beams zap y'all, and the missiles, destroy America, Babylon Great, I say, Lord Yahweh Shai gonna bring judgment on you Edomites, man. And y'all not gonna get away. And like I said, and that's the patience and faith for the saints, the elect. Because the elect of the so-called Negro, Latino, Native American Israelites gonna gonna wait patiently for the Lord Yahweh Shai. Gonna wait patiently, get that, that go, get that green light, for the Edomite devils to go down. It's time for the Edomites, get their judgment. Time for these devils, so-called white people, red people, to be put in chains and and get whipped and beat and much more. To do hardcore labor and clean up and all this shit. Everything that is gonna come for the Edomite devils, man. That's prepared for them. A double cup of hardcore punishment is a wait for you. Is a wait for you, Edomite devils, man. The table's gonna turn. It's gonna be, it's gonna be a beautiful thing for the so-called Negro, Latino, Native American Israelites to, see the tables turn. You damn Edomite devils, so-called white people, red people, are at the bottom and and all messed up and jacked up and ain't shit, right? So it's coming, man. But the ones that gonna keep the patience, have faith, is the elect. When it's time, it's by having, waiting on the Lord, Yahweh Shai time. When it's time to, it's go time, for the Edomite devils to, go down. But I'll go from there to Numbers 35:33. So you shall not pollute the land where you are. Read it again. Numbers 35:33. For you shall not pollute the land wherein you are, for blood it defileth the land, and the land cannot be cleansed of the blood that is shed therein, but by the blood of him that shed it. So yeah, so you so-called Edomite devils, y'all polluted the land, y'all defiled the land. Here in America, the land is the place that's called America today. Before it was called, America, the natives that was here, before you Edomite devils, the Christopher Cabal, what you want to call them, came over here, and rape, backstab the natives, rape, rob, and murder, and made them native slaves, you say you defiled the land with the blood, and much, and much more, like I say, rape, rob the natives, and like I say, the only way that's gonna be cleansed is by your blood. You eating my doubles, ain't no damn reparation money. Jay looking for money and reparations, fuck that, the real payback is by these eating my doubles, y'all blood being shed, they get back. They get back to you Edomites, man. And it's coming. You so-called white people, devil Edomites ain't gonna get away, man. You top elites, you Khazars, you gutter rats, just claiming to be, the chosen people of the Lord, you imposters over in the land of Israel, and so forth. You Edomites and just all your nation of Edom. Y'all gonna get it, man. Y'all time of judgment is upon you. And it's gonna come down hard by the Lord Yahweh Shai. He's not gonna play no games. His wrath and anger is gonna come down hard. And you're gonna know it's the Most High Yahweh Shai that's doing it. You're gonna know it, who y'all Italy call Jebus. You're gonna know that it's the Lord that's bringing down his wrath and judgment upon you Edomites. And you 2/3 sellout Jakes, y'all gonna get it. You 2/3 so-called Negro, Latino natives, you 2/3 Israelites gonna get it too. Y'all sellouts. But you Edomites, y'all gonna get it, man. You devils, they got a lot coming to y'all, man. You so-called white people, red people, man. A lot of, pain and suffering is coming to you, Edomites. Death and destruction is coming to you, so-called white people, damn Edomite devils, man. But go from there to Ezekiel 25:14. Matter of fact, I'm going to go to 13. Let's see. Let's read Ezekiel 25:13. I'll read it from the New Living Translation. Let's see. Matter of fact, I'm reading the NIV. Therefore, this was the sovereignty. Reading it. Therefore, this is what the sovereign, the Lord says. I will stretch out my hand against Edom and kill both man and beast. I will lay waste, and from Teman to Dan they will fall by the sword. So you know, the Lord, you know, the Most High, you know, Lord Yahweh, He gonna kill. He said, I'm gonna stretch my hand against Edom. I'm gonna kill both man and beast. He said, I'm gonna kill. And like I say, people think that the Most High, the Lord, is all soft and, you know, think, oh, He's all loving, and hell no. He said right here, it's I'm gonna stretch my hand against Edom. You know, you gonna stretch your hand out somebody, you trying to, you know, you gonna get at them. You know what I'm saying? And you gonna kill. And I said, I'm gonna kill both man and beast. Cause you Edomite doubles, man. You know, they mess around with the animals. You know, defiling the animals. You know, they doing a lot of things that the Lord Yahweh hates. So you gotta, kill. I know he got killed. You gotta kill, burn up. Excuse me, you gotta kill and burn up the things that the Edomites done, man, and burn it up, man. You know, they in the lab cross. They cross. Can't get the word I want to say, but they putting another animal and another animal together, like DNA. They cross. They're crossing. DNAs. I don't even want to say it like that, but if I'm trying to get the word I'm trying to say, but kind of close to what I want to say, but they, putting this animal and this animal together and trying to create a, some type of, wild beast stuff, and so forth. They doing things that the Lord Yahweh, it ain't probably done. They, it ain't right, and so forth. They doing right. So they just defiling the animals and, the things that's here on the earth. Messing with the water, the air. So Lord Yahweh, he gonna, he said, I'm gonna stretch my hand on Edom. I'm gonna kill man and beast. I'm gonna get at Edom. I'm gonna kill him. So hey, that ain't the power that's, hey, let's all love one another. Man, the Lord Yahweh, he hate the so-called white people, red people, Edomites, man. He don't give a damn about these damn red devil, man. Nasty red devils, man. The Lord gonna kill him. He gonna deal with Edom, man. And we in the times now. It's gonna get worse for you Edomite devils, man. But go to Ezekiel. Ezekiel 25:14. Let's see which one. I'm read it in the NLT. I will accomplish this by the hand of my people of Israel. They will carry out my vengeance with anger, and Edom will know that this vengeance is from me. Hey, like I just said. Hey, read that again, man. the NLT. I will accomplish this by the hand of my people of Israel. Israelites, so-called Negro, Latino, Native Americans, which are the Israelites. They're Israel. We're the real chosen people. They will carry out my vengeance with anger. So it's gonna be the Lord Yahweh Shai, and it's gonna be the spirit on the the so-called Negro, Latino, natives. There's gonna be the anger of the Lord. It's like something's gonna activate in the 12 tribes to get at you Edomite devils, And you see seeing the situation that is going on with Mexico and the tribe of Issachar getting at you, Edomites and tearing y'all shit up down there, And it's gonna get way. It's gonna see it way more activate. It's gonna activate amongst the 12 tribes of the Israelites. So you're gonna see more. The anger from the Lord. It's gonna be on Jake to get at you Edomites, man. But I'll read it again. We're gonna read it again. I will accomplish this. Excuse me. I will accomplish this by the hand of my people Israel. They will carry out my vengeance with anger, and Edom will know that this vengeance is from me. I, the sovereign Lord, have spoken. So it's the Lord Yahweh saying, you're gonna know it's of me, man. Edom. It's coming from me, the Most High Yahweh Yahweh. You gonna know it's from me. You see, the 12 tribes rising up, getting at you goddamn devil Edomites, man. And then like I said, then like I said, eventually you're gonna see the loyal shall return. He gonna get his get back. The ones that did him wrong 2,000 so years ago. They put him on the cross. That spiked them on the cross, with the one that spiked them, and so they gonna be here, man. When they see the Lord, they gonna know that that's the Lord Yahweh Shai. They gonna know that's the him. So hey, we in those beautiful times, man. To get back to Edom. The Lord Yahweh Shai gonna bring vengeance upon Edom, man. We in those times, man. It's about holding on, keeping the faith. Keep fighting and not be afraid, not have no fear, of what's to come. Because, like I said, if you're the elect of the so-called Negro, Latino, Native American Israelites, the Lord Yahweh Shai, he's going to be with the elect. He's going to make sure the elect is going to, going to be protected, it's going to be, in the spirit, in the righteous spirit, and especially in the anger of the Lord, too. And righteous anger, So, so that's the times, hey, that we in and going forward, in the prophecy of the word of the Lord, because the words of the Lord is gonna come true. It's not gonna go void. His words is gonna be made manifest, and and everyone, for everyone to see. And to know that this is from a higher power. This is from a higher power, And these are and the apostles and elders and the brother great men for saying it for years. They've been teaching the word of the Lord, telling you these days will come. The time will come. And when you see the Lord Yahweh Shai, bring down his anger and wrath upon America, Babylon great, upon Edom, so-called white man, devil, Edomites, that's in power, man. But I'm going. So I ain't gonna make this too long. So I'm gonna end off with Daniel 7:18. But the saints of the Most High shall take the kingdom and possess the kingdom forever and forever and ever. So so the saints of the Most High, the elect, the so-called Negro, Latino, Native American Israelites, Israelites are gonna take the kingdom, man. It's gonna take it. Ain't gonna be no sit down. Let's talk about it. Let's come to a deal. Fuck all that. We're going to take what's rightfully ours, because the so-called Negro, Latino, Native Israelites are really supposed to be the ones in power and over everything in the earth and more, you know, and supposed to be in rulership and power and governing the other nations, you know, and righteousness. Because what you're seeing right now is governing, ran in wickedness and evil and deceit and lies, blasphemy, you know, by the goddamn Edomite devils, man. Those the ones that's in power, but the Lord Yahweh finna take their power away, man. You know, it's gonna be a power shift. It's gonna go from Lord Yahweh, y'all, it's over for y'all. Y'all time is up. So-called white man, East Edomite devils, y'all time is up. Jake, you so-called Negro, Latino natives, hey, it's your time to rise up. It's time to take this shit, man. It's time to take back. It's time to take what back was yours. It's time to, you know, get at the Edomite devils, you know, put them in chains and, you know, when that time comes and, you know, have them under your feet. Have them as your slave and they, you know, they're going to clean up whatever they got to do, you know, whatever they punishment, they double slavery or punishment, double cup of slavery punishment they got, you know, they got to deal with. You know, they got to deal with the double cup. Because our cup of punishment is coming to an end. The so-called Negro, Latino, Native Israelites, our cup of punishment that we had to drink, you know, and deal with is coming to an end. We had to, you know, at the end of it, you know. So, almost done with this, you know. And it's gonna be time for you so-called white people, devil Edomites. It's gonna be your time, your time of, you know, going down and being at the bottom, you know. And like I say, you know, once the, you know, so-called Negro, Latino, Native American Israelites, you know, once, you know, getting power is gonna be forever. Why scripture right here I just read in Daniel 7:18, it's gonna be forever. Ain't gonna be no time period. Okay, this it's gonna be this amount of years of time. No, it's gonna be forever. You know, ain't no time limit. It's gonna be forever, man. The so-called Negro, Latino, Native American Israelites gonna be the next rulers of, like I said, everything and more forever, man. You know, all you other nations, y'all gonna pay servitude and, you know, you gonna do your part. Y'all gonna be slaves too. But the so-called white man, Edomite devils, ones in rulership right now in power, y'all gonna have to deal with a whole lot. Then once y'all done with y'all time of slavery, y'all gonna be vanquished. You know, completely just destroyed. No, y'all not gonna exist no more. The nation Edom ain't gonna exist no more after their time of slavery, man. Once they get done, or their time of punishment of slavery, you know. So with that, you know, I ain't want to make this too long. So again, I'd like to give our praise and glory to Yahweh.